I'm super excited about today's sponsor. They've sponsored the podcast before, and this is a topic I'm super passionate about. I fear that us as girls struggle with PMS far more than we should, and we really shouldn't. I truly get the worst PMS symptoms. My boobs are sensitive, my face breaks out, my sugar controllings are out of whack. I feel like I'm just a bottomless pit. My mood is not the vibe, and Estro Control has been super helpful in helping manage those PMS symptoms and making that time of the month a lot more enjoyable. Estro Control is a formula developed by Happy Mammoth, a supplement company dedicated to making women's lives easier. Say no more. Estro Control contains science-backed herbal extracts that help support hormonal health, especially if you are someone like myself who struggles with PMS. It was created to help women feel like themselves all month long and to not struggle with the feelings PMS can cause. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code Alana at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code Alana for 15% off today.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language? Maybe you were inspired by a recent international trip, became obsessed with a foreign film or TV show, wanted to communicate better with a loved one, or just felt like developing a new skill. With Rosetta Stone, learning a new language is easier than you thought. Rosetta Stone has been a trusted expert for 30 years with millions of users and 25 languages offered, including Spanish, French, Japanese, Dutch, and more. Learning is immersive and designed for long-term retention, so you fully learn to speak, listen, and even think in that language. Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. Listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/today. That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/today.
Celebrity voice impersonation not an endorsement. Why go to a single furniture store when you can go to Big Sandy Superstore? Shop and compare America's top 5 mattress brands, plus Nectar and Purple. And choose from over 22,000 in-stock appliances from the top brands at the guaranteed lowest price. Or furnish the room of your dreams with a large selection of American-built furniture. With financing plans for just about anyone, there's nowhere else quite like it. Big Sandy Superstore.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
Hello, good morning, angels, and welcome back to Morning Ray. I'm your host, Lan or Alana, and today's episode is our first episode of 2023, baby. Welcome to 2023. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a lovely holiday season, a lovely Christmas, a lovely Hanukkah, whatever you may celebrate. I hope it was truly just joyful, and I know that time of year can also be really hard for some people, so just know that I'm here. You can always DM me and talk things out with me. I am there to help you through it, but I'm super excited for today's episode. I was originally going to take a little break, but I felt really called to talk on these 3 things. So these 3 things that I learned in 2022, what I'm leaving in 2022, and what I'm bringing into 2023. And I thought I would continue on kind of that 2-part series that I did at the end of last year. So just how I'm being that girl in 2023. Let's start off with our weekly intention. My weekly intention, I have 2 of them. One of them is to get back into running. because since Vancouver, I haven't ran. So like the whole of December, I didn't really run because I got sick with a cough and it was honestly really hard for me to breathe and I didn't want to push myself with that. So now I'm ready. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling inspired to get back into running. And then my second one is to cook at home. I didn't really grocery shop the last 2 weeks properly. And so I was taking out a lot, ordering takeout a lot. And I was also like having a lot of social dinners and meals and things. And I'm kind of just like fatigued out of ordering takeout. Like I want home cooked food. So my tip of the week, as always, is to think of your future self, schedule in those workouts. So whether it be running, lifting, a workout class, whatever it may be, schedule it in. Grocery shop in the 2-3-3 method. I might explain this wrong, but I saw this on TikTok and I thought it was really helpful, and I'm going to apply it when I go grocery shopping. So essentially, the 2-3-3 method is to get 2 proteins, 3 fruits, and 3 veggies. So you can pick your 2 proteins. For example, you can get chicken breast and salmon fillets. And then you'll get 3 fruits and 3 veggies. When you're shopping for your 3 fruits and 3 veggies, think of 1 to snack with, 1 to eat, and then 1 for recipes. So like when I mean like 1 to eat, like get one that could be like a side dish. So for example, like broccoli, or maybe for a fruit like melon or something. And then like 1 for recipes. So like maybe you're making like a soup or a stir fry, or I don't know. But that's the 2-3-3 method to help you be really also like money efficient when grocery shopping, because you don't want to have all these random things that you can't really use multiple times. It makes it a lot easier, helps you save money, helps you also be less wasteful, because I feel like that's a huge concern or issue that a lot of us face when we're grocery shopping. We buy too much and then we're throwing out our spinach and our berries and everything. So the 2-3-3 method: 2 proteins, 3 fruits, 3 veggies, and you're good to go. Make your grocery list before you go to the grocery store and it will help a ton. Current obsessions: I just got my nails redone and I did 2 coats of Funny Bunny with an almond shape, and I'm obsessed. You guys know before I did Funny Bunny with Bubble Bath, but this time I just did Funny Bunny and it's super cute. It's like this sheer white. You can see the whites of my nails underneath, so it kind of looks a little French in a way. And I love the almond shape. I love when it's pointier. It just feels like it elongates my fingers, and I think it's really cute. I'm normally not a foundation girly. Like I will just wear like the Drunk Elephant Bronzy drops with moisturizer and sunscreen. But I picked out the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation from my gifting with Ilia. And let me tell you guys, I absolutely love it. I also love the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. That one's definitely like a foundation. But the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation is so glowy, and especially if you put it on with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter on underneath, chef's kiss. It looks so good. Your skin looks so dewy, so hydrated. It's honestly really great for the winter because my skin has been a little bit dry, and it just goes on excellent. And then my last current fave, I can't remember if I spoke about this previously, but I really am in my lifting era. I'm really into weightlifting, and I'm starting to see results and feel results from doing it consistently. I train 3 times a week with a personal trainer. I'm very grateful that I'm able to do this. And honestly, I'm starting to see like and feel changes in my strength, and then like visually, like I feel like my muscle definition, I can see in my back. I can see like my quads. I'm starting to get a bit of my quad back. I had that when I was running a lot. My core also feels like a lot more defined and tight because I'm really embracing my core, like the really inner muscles. So that's really exciting. And I'm hitting a lot of PRs, which is also really cool. Like to be like hip thrusting 255 pounds or squatting 135 is pretty cool. Or on like the sled, pushing like 4 plates, kind of awesome. Not 4 plates. What am I saying? 3. So it's just like fun. And I don't know. I love little challenges. I'm also working towards doing a chin up. And I feel like I'm definitely getting stronger. I can hold at the top for 12 seconds now. I do have to use like a resistance band or like step on something to get myself up, but I can hold at the top for longer. We used to only be able to hold for 5 seconds. I can do 12 seconds now, so that's pretty cool. But let's get into the bulk of the episode. 3 things I learned in 2022. Actually, before we get into the bulk, I just want to say that this like segment of the podcast or today's topic was inspired by the episode that I did with Lisa Gilmore on her podcast, Unwinding. So definitely go check that out. I think some of the things are kind of similar that would have said of what I learned in 2022 and what I'm bringing into 2023, but this is different. So 3 things I learned in 2022. Number 1, truly loving and appreciating myself for who I am. I feel like I've kind of been on this journey for the past 3 or so years, like since I transferred from Laurier, I would say. So since 2019. So I guess going on into like the 4th year almost, 3.5. And I feel like I finally have appreciation for who I am, and I'm really confident and I know who I am now. And this is definitely like something that has happened in the latter half of this year. And I really do attribute starting to work for myself and going on this like entrepreneurship, self-employed journey to a lot of it. But I've just like learned how to truly love and appreciate myself for who I am and not letting someone else dictate whether or not that's a good thing, and kind of just being confident with who I am and running with that and holding my head strong. And it's kind of just like a really fulfilling and thrilling feeling to just like know who you are, because I feel like your 20s, like you're kind of lost. And I still think there is a lot of self-discovery that I have to do. Like I am only 23, but I'm at a point where I've really discovered who I am, and I've come into myself, and what I'm just like truly appreciative of who I am and what I've created. And that's kind of led me to be a bit protective of it. And I'm not mad about that. And I think that's like led me to really like be specific about who I want in my life in terms of friendships and relationships, and who I'm going to date and who I'm going to let in my inner circle, and the energy that I'm going to allow into my life. So just like, it's really just like a thrilling and like, can't think of the actual word I want to say right now. It's just like this really surreal feeling. It's really freeing. And I don't know. If you've experienced this before, like let me know, DM me. I feel like maybe a lot of you are younger, so you haven't necessarily gotten fully there yet, or maybe you felt it to a certain degree. But if you're older, or maybe you have experienced this, I don't know, you could be my age, you could be younger, DM me. I want to chat about it, because it's kind of just like this really cool realization and kind of like an epiphany that you have. Is it an epiphany? I feel like I'm Emma Chamberlain, always using like big words and not realizing what they mean. Epiphany. An experience of a sudden and striking realization. Generally, the term is used to describe a scientific breakthrough or religious discovery. It can be applied to an illuminating discovery, realization, or disclosure. It's also a holiday on January 6th, in case you're curious. But yeah, okay. So number 1, truly loving and appreciating myself, who I am, and being confident in that. And then the second thing that I learned in 2022 is that family is a feeling. It's not just reliant on who your blood relatives are. So like, it's not just your immediate family. It's not your cousins. It's not necessarily like your mother, your father. It is truly just a feeling. And I learned that this year in circumstances that weren't the best, and it's not something I'm ready to talk about. And number 3 is also kind of oh my God, I can't speak, relative to that. But family truly is a feeling, and you can find family anywhere, whether it be colleagues at work, or people at a fitness studio you go to, or a group of friends, or maybe individual people, or even like maybe like your best friend's family. It's truly a feeling, and you don't have to be blood related at all in order to have a family. And just know that like, maybe you're listening to this and you're not super close with your immediate family, like your mother or your siblings or your father or whoever, and you're seeking a family, you can find it elsewhere. You don't have to you can set those boundaries with your quote unquote actual family if you need to, if it's not healthy, and you can find family elsewhere. And it can be just as great, if not better. And I'm not telling you to ditch your blood related family. You can have both. But just know that you can find family and support outside of just your blood relations or blood relatives. Number 3 is that your mental health, and I've said this so many times, but when I say it this way, I really, really mean it. Mental health is so beyond important, and the consequences of ignoring it and pushing it under the rug are so beyond what you can even imagine. I'm only 23, and I've experienced small consequences from ignoring it, such as meltdowns and these small anxieties, and well, not necessarily small, but smaller than what I've seen happen from years and years of mental health being ignored and pushed and stress just piling on, and how it can impact your mental health. And I'm not saying this to really scare you, but at the same time, I kind of am. If you haven't taken the initiative already to care about your mental health and the way that you care and society cares about our physical well-being, then you need to start. If 2023 is your year to start caring about yourself, start focusing on that mental health. Start seeking out ways to take care of it. It doesn't necessarily just mean therapy. I understand that therapy isn't always super accessible. It's expensive. It's not possible for everyone given their circumstances, but there are other routes and methods to caring for your mental health, like meditation, like journaling, like not really visualization, but working out also, and just being aware of your thoughts and feelings, expressing your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions to your family, to your friends, to peers, to maybe a mentor. Really find ways to care for your mental health and deal with these struggles as they come, instead of just ignoring them and pushing it under the rug. Because what I have seen happen to my loved ones from just ignoring it is so beyond what I could have ever thought would have happened. And that's now made me so much more proactive about my own mental health, especially when it comes to stress and anxieties and depression and all these feelings surrounding that. So taking care of your mental health is so important. If you take one thing from this episode, if you take one thing from my podcast from me, put your mental health first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Okay? I love you guys. I'm always here to chat. I'm going to say that a million times. I'm always here to chat and help guide you in the right direction. Okay, 3 things I am leaving in 2022. Number 1, self-sabotaging. I feel like this is something I've become hyper aware of through experiences and discussions in therapy this year, and also in discussions with my friends who kind of have this emotional intelligence at the same level, if not higher than mine. We are not self-sabotaging in 2023. We're leaving that in 2022. I don't think I necessarily did it a lot in 2022, but I became a lot more aware of when I did and when I had in the past. So we're leaving that in 2022. No more self-sabotaging. And what I mean by self-sabotaging is that I'm not going to intentionally or subconsciously sabotage opportunities for me to experience things, whether it be in my career, in a love life, in relationships. Specifically in relationships, I feel like I self-sabotaged a lot, and that prohibited me from a lot of being able to experience a lot of things. And it also caused me to feel a lot of pain and sadness or hurt from it. So we're no longer self-sabotaging in 2023. We're leaving that in the past. Number 2, this is something I don't know if I've spoken about it on the pod, but I definitely have started to speak about it with my friends and in therapy. And this is a realization and something that I started to practice. I want to say in the last like quarter of 2022. So the last like 4 months, maybe even a little less. But we are no longer putting men on the pedestal. We are no longer seeking external validation from them. And what I mean by this is that I feel like with me, and I'm like confident that I'm not alone in this, is that when I used to date and I would essentially not really feel, this was basically from like a pattern of like being hurt a lot, but I would essentially feel nothing for like any, say I was like seeing 3 guys. I would essentially like feel nothing really towards any of them, as like almost numb, until like one guy made me feel something. And then when that one guy made me feel something, I would put them on a pedestal and I would do everything to please them and how they could like me, think about how they would like me as opposed to if I even liked them. I'd like kind of like warp myself into being super busy can make it really easy to fall into a dinner time recipe rut, or even with your lunches. Any meal, honestly, can get you into a rut, especially with a busy schedule this fall. You can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. It's truly a no-brainer. It does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-proportioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It's never been easier. I personally love HelloFresh as a way to get exposure to new recipes, make my life a bit easier as a busy 20-year-old in the city. And I love that it's worry-free, it's super easy, it's convenient, and gets delivered straight to my door. Go to HelloFresh.com/50Ray and use code 50Ray for 50% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/50RAE and use code 50Ray, 50RAE for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode of Morning Ray.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
What I thought was the ideal girl, or the girl that they would want to date and make things official with. And I found that I was constantly seeking external validation to them. So I would text them saying these things in hopes of getting external validation from them, or validation of what I was doing was right. For example, like sharing achievements, or kind of like bragging to them about things that I was doing, or like trying to make things that I was doing seem cooler so I would get that validation from them. And when I became aware of this, I stopped putting the men on the pedestal and I started putting myself on that pedestal. And this kind of is like switching your mindset from like that scarcity to abundance mindset. And before I sent a text, I would ask myself, am I texting them because I genuinely just like want to talk to them? Or am I texting them this because I'm seeking that external validation from them? Can I seek that validation internally from myself, or maybe from a friend who is in alignment with like, I don't know, like can give me that external validation instead? And so now I no longer, well, I'm going to say 95% of the time, I'm no longer putting men on the pedestal. I'm putting myself on that pedestal. I am the prize. I'm able to make the decision. They're lucky if they have me. I think about, do I like them? Not as opposed to, how can I make them like me? And I seek the validation from within myself as opposed to from them. And so we are leaving putting men on the pedestal and seeking external validation from men, or you can insert whatever pronoun into men, whatever your interests are. I'm just a straight female, so men is what I'm putting there. We're leaving that in 2022. Number 3, imposter syndrome. This is so crazy to me because I felt like for so long I struggled with imposter syndrome insanely. Like in my career, I just like always was like, when is someone going to figure out that I'm not capable, that I'm not actually qualified to do this? I always felt like such an imposter, even though I actually knew like I wasn't, but I just felt like it all the time. And as soon as I left my job and started working for myself, and I feel like normally it's the opposite when you start working for yourself. You normally start to feel imposter syndrome. But I have never felt more confident and sure of myself and my abilities and what I'm doing now that I'm working for myself, now that I'm a creator, now that I'm doing freelance marketing and whatnot. Like the imposter syndrome has just like flown away. It like got up and flew away, and it's as if it never existed. Sorry. The throat was getting dry. I had to drink some water. Loving my Stanley water bottle still, FYI. But anyhow, imposter syndrome, we're leaving that in 2022. I hope that it never comes back. I still do experience it to a very small degree, and I think this degree is a lot healthier than the amount that I used to deal with it. But it's just crazy to me that as soon as, I wouldn't say it was instant. It wasn't like I left my job the day of and like instantly the imposter syndrome was gone. But I want to say at least within the last like month and a half, like once I started to really settle into working for myself, it just like I realized, I did like a little self-reflection. I'm like, hang on, I'm no longer feeling this way. This is like really weird. And I don't know. It just like it really makes you question some things and why they were that way. But to summarize, the 3 things I am leaving in 2022 are self-sabotaging, putting men on the pedestal / seeking external validation from them, and imposter syndrome. Now, to close it off, the 3 things that I'm bringing into 2023 are, number 1, the power of being present. I cannot stress this one enough. It helps so much with gratitude and managing your anxiety levels, but encouraging yourself to be present in the exact moment that you're in right now. So for example, I'm recording this podcast right now, and I feel like normally in the past, I would have like been thinking about, oh my God, I have all these things to do. Like my mind would keep like jumping to like the next thing. And I'd get super anxious and worried about that. But the moment I've encouraged myself to focus on being present and focusing on the task at hand or whatever I'm doing in that moment, life has gotten so much better. I feel like my memories are so much more vivid. I feel so much more calm, and it's just like a crazy thing. So the power of being present. And I believe I spoke about this a lot on last week's episode of the pod. So definitely go and listen to that if you haven't already. And maybe if you're forgetting a little bit, there's no harm in listening to it again. Number 2, the power of consistency. I feel like I stress this a lot. These are all things that you've heard me talk about time and time again, but the power of consistency, whether it be in your habits, in your career. Think about these little habits, these little things that you do every day. When you do them consistently, those little micro improvements and changes add up to greater. They talk about this in Atomic Habits. James Clear talks about it. If you improve by 1% every day for 30 days, in 30 days, you're going to be 30% better. So when you're consistent with your morning routine, with your night routine, with working out, with drinking water, with getting enough sleep, with completing the tasks that you have to do at work, with working on your side hustle or whatever it may be, the sooner you're going to start to see those bigger ripples and see those consistent changes and improvements in your life, in your abilities, in everything. So the power of consistency is incredible. And you can also apply this to your relationships, your communication, your ability to see someone, the way you talk to someone, the way you talk to yourself. The more consistent you are, the sooner you are going to see those big ripples and those bigger changes. And it may feel really small. You know, like you can go to the gym every single day and you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you may not look that much different from the day before. But if you look back and compare to a month ago, you'll see more of a change. Or if you look back and compare to 2 months ago, 3 months ago, you'll see those changes. And then number 3, this kind of goes with something that I'm leaving, ironically. But number 3, I'm finding validation within myself. There's no need to brag. There's no need to search for someone else's opinion to validate whatever you're going to choose to do. Like, hold on, I need more water. My throat is dry today, guys. Okay, finding validation within myself. So like, I feel like before, whenever I wanted to make any sort of decision, I would message 1,000,001 friends asking like, should I get option A or B, or should I do A or B? And especially when it came to relationships, I constantly would look for validation from other people that I was doing this quote unquote right, or this was the right thing, or asking for other opinions of like what was going on in my relationship, specifically like romantic relationships, but even like friendships, like if I had like drama with a friend when I was younger. And what I've learned is that no one knows better than you what you need. So yes, it's okay and it's good to ask for opinions and people's assistance in making decisions, whether it be for a job switch or an apartment or anything, but like your gut truly knows best. And you should do at the end of the day what makes you feel happiest and what suits you best. And that is what I mean when I say like finding validation within yourself. Like, don't be so reliant on other people's opinions and help with you making decisions. Like, learn how to do it on yourself. Learn to trust yourself. You can give yourself so much trust and you're so much more capable than what you think. And as soon as like I started to realize this is definitely like a newer realization. It is so freeing because you feel so much more confident in that you are able to make these decisions and come to these terms on yourself. And I feel like that also helps you like not self-sabotage. And I also feel like this finding validation within myself kind of summarizes all the things that I've been talking about on this podcast in the past. So to summarize, 3 things I'm bringing into 2023: the power of being present, the power of consistency, and finding validation within myself, because no one cares more about you than you. And yeah, okay. I'm going to stop talking your ears off now. I hope you have an amazing start to the new year. Let's kick it off strong. I think I'm going to do a challenge. I haven't decided yet. I don't know. I'll let you know on socials. If you like this episode of Morning Ray, as always, I would love if you could leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Reading your reviews honestly makes my day. I will literally tear up reading them. And if you are listening and want to post on socials that you're listening, I love that too. I love seeing when I'm tagged your guys' stories. It's just so surreal because I always do that with my favorite podcast. So then see you guys doing it is just like a pinch me moment. But I love you guys so much. And next week's episode is a really good one. We have a special guest coming on. I think you're really going to like this episode. That episode. And I will see you guys next week. Love you.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Most weight loss plans are one size fits all, not taking into account each person's individual needs. Noom is here to change that. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain. But it also takes into account your unique biological factors, which also affect weight loss success. The program helps you understand the science behind your eating choices and why you have cravings. Everyone's journey is different, so your daily lessons are personalized to you and your goals. One of the great things about Noom is that it's nourishing instead of restrictive. They focus on progress instead of perfection. You don't have to give up carbs, or anything for that matter. Have cravings? Food FOMO? Noom can help you lose weight while still enjoying your favorite foods. To date, Noom has helped more than 5.2 million people lose weight. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com.